Boy, another one of those games where you could just never quite get too comfortable despite the Bulls having commanding leads in the second and third quarter, up by as many as 19 points, but the Bulls let the Pelicans hang around in this one, and not just hang around, they let them cut the lead to within one possession with less than a minute to go. There were some questionable fouls there and flopping on the Pels' end with shooting threes, and then of course you also had Zion, who was not shooting well from the free throw line tonight. He shot 8 for 16 from the line, 8 missed free throws. But despite the Pels making a strong run at the end there, the Bulls were able to hang on, but it was never a certainty until the horn rang. So what's going on, everyone? You were listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. Definitely feels good to get a win heading into the All-Star break, going into this week off of games. The last thing you want to do is go into the break with a 3-game losing streak with some negative momentum, and also ensuring you're beating a team that hasn't been playing really well, again, winning those games that you need to win. What I liked from this game was how strong the Bulls came out, playing with some fire and energy right off the bat, taking a quick 8-0 run, but then kind of fell asleep to close out the quarter and let the Pelicans bring it within 1 point. The Bulls had an absolutely dominant second quarter though, and they really, that was the back half of the second quarter. They closed at halftime up 19 points. I was telling the guys in the chat on the Discord, how did that even happen? I was watching the game and not really paying attention to the score, and looked down and saw we were up 19. And despite holding that lead in the third quarter, the Pelicans made a few small runs here and there, but the Bulls stuck with it. But then the dreaded fourth quarter came, and boy did I think the Bulls were about to blow this one. I mean, everything was going right for the Pelicans. They finally started hitting down shots. They were playing solid defense. The Bulls just struggled to score there in the last 4 minutes or so. Pelicans put up 45 points on the Bulls in the fourth quarter, and that is no way that you want to close out a game, because this isn't a good team. You've had a bad fourth quarter like this against a good team, you're going to lose, kind of like how we saw against the Suns. So I guess the positive is the Bulls found a way to close this one out. They did get complacent. They started getting a little flustered. They made some bad mistakes, fouling 3-point shooters when the game looked all but over. But they did what they needed to do. They didn't just give up, and they made sure that they were able to come down to the wire and eke out a win in this one. And despite the comeback from the Pelicans, the positive I see from this is that the Bulls are ensuring that they're at least closing out games against the teams that aren't so great in the league, right? Like we saw against the Wolves the other night. The question is, when are they going to be able to start closing out games against above 500 teams? Because they were right there and had those games against the Nuggets and the Suns most recently. Not only them, but we've also seen them have very close games against the Clippers, Lakers, Blazers. I don't even know why I just reminded myself of that game, but in any event, Bulls close it out yet again against a team they needed to beat. They improved to 16 and 18 on the season, just waiting for that moment when the Bulls finally take that jump above 500. Hopefully it'll happen this month, we'll have to see. But guys, before I get into the Bulls and the things we saw from our guys tonight, can I just say something about Jackson Hayes? If you've been following my channel for a while now, I had a couple videos out a while back in which I talked about how the Bulls should pursue Hayes in a trade, because he's only in his second season. He had a solid rookie year, but this season he's seen his minutes reduced because Steven Adams was brought in, and he's also not really getting utilized properly in Stan Van Gundy's system. I'm not saying he's going to be a future star, but he's a solid center, an actual center, very athletic, a good shot blocker, and has a lot of potential. And because the Pelicans haven't been using him, I just feel like this is an opportunity for the Bulls to take advantage of. I mean, you could even throw Lonzo Ball into a trade package deal for all I care. But I won't digress into that too much. I'll try to stay on topic for this game. What I will say though is I actually already recorded a video I'll be uploading tomorrow in which I talk about redrafting the Bulls' 3 number 7 picks, and spoiler alert, Jackson Hayes makes an appearance there. I may have to redo the recording now after seeing him play tonight. I totally forgot we would get a chance to see him play before the All-Star break. But as for the Bulls, first of all, I loved seeing Patrick Williams coming out and being aggressive and scoring 7 points right off the bat. I still cannot believe he wasn't selected to the Rising Stars game. That was just ridiculous to me. I get that it's a USA versus world roster and the US was pretty stacked, but I mean, come on. Williams has been a top 5 rookie, if not top 5, definitely top 7. And I know this also encompasses the sophomores, which Coby White didn't make it either, which I also found ridiculous, but I'll probably need to make a separate video about that and how these guys really did get snubbed for this game. But for Patrick Williams, he started out strong, but then got into foul trouble, so he was forced to sit more in this game than he otherwise would have. But he did finish the game with 13 points, 6 for 7 from the field. He did not miss a single shot from inside, and he also had 4 rebounds. Lavine, I mean, just yet again, another incredible game for him. He did have a bad turnover late in the game that enabled the Pelicans to build on that run and cutting it to 4 points, but that aside, had some incredible plays in getting to the basket to close out the game, and of course, knocking down some clutch free throws. 36 points, 12 for 19 shooting, got his 3-point shooting back from the last game, going 4 for 8 from behind the arc. Honestly, that's what's been impressive to me is, just how efficient Zach has been in scoring this season. Sometimes I feel like we might focus on when he misses or misses in the clutch, or maybe that's just me, but when I take a look at his numbers, generally his shooting is above the 50% range, which is incredible for a guard that takes a lot of outside shots. He also had 8 assists tonight to go with the scoring, so he was able to utilize some of those playmaking skills that the Bulls have been looking for. Coby White, another good game for him from a scoring standpoint. Still needs to improve his defense, but 25 points on 8 for 16 shooting, and he actually shot the 3-ball well, going 4 for 7, and only 1 turnover tonight from Coby White, which was good to see. And then Wendell Carter Jr. I mean, I guess what I liked seeing was not just the 15 rebounds, which was great considering he only had 8 rebounds combined from his last 2 games, and 7 of those rebounds were offensive. And of course, he had a huge offensive rebound with less than a minute to go to put it back up and score to put the Bulls in a position to win the game. 7 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists. He was plus 22 on the night. He had the best box plus minus for the team this evening. And I know he only shot 3 for 11, but it was good to see Wendell actually being, putting up attempts, because in the last 2 games, we didn't even see that from him. And you think I could forget Thaddeus Young? 18 points, shooting 8 for 10. I feel like whenever I see Thad shoot out there and putting up shots, he just never misses. All of his shots, even when they look like bad shots, if he's falling away when putting them up, they somehow go down. He also had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 blocks in the night. Again, all of the little things this guy has really done for this team. And I know I haven't mentioned Garrett Temple in a while, and that wasn't intentional. I know he doesn't always show up that much on the stat sheet, but his value in the court is really critical, especially being in the starting lineup with Markkanen being out. In every game, he hasn't been scoring much more recently, but when you look at his impact on the court from a box plus minus perspective, he's always a standout. Tonight, as an example, he was plus 20 on the night. Overall, this is a game that was a little too close for comfort, but like I said, a win is a win, and it needed one before going into the All-Star break, having a week off. Hopefully the guys will rest up. Really hoping we'll see Markkanen back right when the season opens back up after the break next Thursday. I'll have videos all week though to keep you guys entertained, hopefully, as well as provide any updates on the Bulls that do come about during that time period. So be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan and you like daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in as always, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.